gamers! I started this script with the goal of writing a silly essay about some made-up creatures from a children's MMO called Monkey Quest. These creatures, Rachnoids, are, of course, the most civilized of the various beasts you fight in Monkey Quest, even down to having a fairly organized government structure. I wanted to make a neat little research video talking about the structure and how it all works. After all, they seem to have a full monarchy and a Rachnoid queen and a pretty orderly government. I thought it would make for an interesting video. But what I found is fascinating, convoluted, and perhaps even contradictory. The Rachnoids you see are not mere monarchs. No, they had much greater intentions than that simple goal, but anarcho-monarchists, yes, but wait, I hear you saying anarchism calls for complete freedom, but monarchy seems pretty limiting to freedom, with giving one person most of the power. How could this possibly work? That is what these weird, delicious little spider things from a kid's game are going to teach us today. Allow me to collect myself. So, today we will look at how the Rachnoids of Monkey Quest instituted somehow, someway, an anarcho-monarchist society, and what an anarcho-monarchist society can teach us about real-world politics. So, get ready for a wild ride of me once again going insane through dense political theory, and I hope you enjoy. Firstly, we should probably define what anarcho-monarchism actually is. Let's take the anarcho part. Anarchism is the belief that all hierarchies should be abolished in order to ensure the maximum equality between individuals. It should be noted that our definition of anarchism draws from more politically left-leaning ideas. There are other subtypes of anarchists, like the anarcho-capitalists I discussed in my video on why Monkey Quest economy would quickly fall, which believe in more right-leaning ideas, such as unregulated capitalism. They still believe hierarchies should exist, just not government-enforced hierarchies. However, today we will be focusing on the more general term of anarchism, which seeks to abolish all hierarchy. Anyway, now the monarchist part of anarcho-monarchist. Monarchists believe that power should be concentrated in the hands of one individual, referred to as a monarch. For anarcho-monarchists, this means a single individual should have absolute power, but that individual should only use their power to put down threats to the anarchy, or threats that seek to create a hierarchy. This is how a monarch can exist in an anarchist mindset. So, how in the world does all this dense political theory apply to Monkey Quest? Well, let's take a quick look at the society of the Rachnoids. The Rachnoids, on a surface level, appear to be quite monarchist. They have a main leader, the Rachnoid Queen, who hangs out in the Spider Cave Trail and is the main, how do I put this, source for Rachnoid children. However, the Rachnoid Queen seems to have very little authority. We see multiple Rachnoids such as Ripper and Anya operating completely independently from the monarchy. Despite the uprising generation of Shadow Rachnoids, trust me, we'll get to that later, the only administrative order the Rachnoid Queen ever gives you is to protect her precious firstborn, the previously mentioned Anya. Typical monarch. But wait, monarch. Isn't it interesting that the only administrative action we see the Rachnoid Queen take is defending her own child? A pretty selfish motive, sure, but what if she's doing exactly what she was instated to do? She has to defend the monarchy, her bloodline, because the monarchy must hold the anarchy together. Now, you may be saying, isn't it a bit of a jump to say that just because the Rachnoid Queen has very little intervention, it must be an anarcho-monarchy? You would be right. But let's look at another piece of evidence. Let's take a look at Ka's organized attack on Rachnoid hierarchy. The Rachnoids reside mainly in the Utu Mystics tribe. The main plotline of the Utu Mystics quest has a major focus on pollution and how it affects the ecosystems of the swamps. That alone is an interesting enough topic for another video, but it's not what we're interested in today. Today, we're going to look at one of Ka's, aka the main antagonist of the Rachnoids, plots to corrupt the arachnoids using this pollution. Ka attempted to create a toxin that would turn arachnoids to shadow creatures. However, during testing, how do you even test these kinds of things again? It was found that the toxin only affected juvenile arachnoids. Ka, however, used this to his advantage. He ordered his monsters to spread the toxin throughout all of the swamps, allowing the children to be corrupted without the adults even noticing. This is what led to the prevalence of shadow arachnoids, as the once juvenile arachnoids began to replace the adults, now fully corrupted with shadows. You would think the Rachnoid Queen, if she really were your typical monarch, would be ready to declare martial law against whoever spread the toxin, and yet she doesn't even seem to care when she talks to you. She even acknowledges that some of her children have been, quote, misbehaving, but is too busy cleaning the toxin from herself and knitting to even care. She even asks you to get her flowers as a, quote, formal greeting for her queen, completely ignoring the crisis going on around her. It's not even the Rachnoid Queen at the end of the questline that helps you foil Ka's plot. It's some random NPC named Groot who's barely relevant to the Rachnoid hierarchy. How can any monarch be this ignorant? Unless, of course, the ignorance is intentional. Let's think about the possible side effects of an entire generation of Rachnoids becoming shadow. Firstly, any generational structure is going to fall apart. Any control among Rachnoid society would be a lost cause as well, with such strongly conflicting ideologies. Respect for the monarchy would fall, leading to a break in authority over the populace. Nearly every hierarchy would be crumbling at the seams. Anarchy. Beautiful anarchy. The Rachnoid Queen is not ignoring the problem out of laziness, but out of ensuring that the anarchy lives on. She is there to enforce when attempts to overthrow the anarchy are made, like when her firstborn was taken, an attempt to cut off the bloodline that keeps the anarchy in power. The Rachnoid Queen is not ignorant, but calculated. Rachnoid society is an anarcho-monarchy, and based on the fact that her laissez-faire ideology has kept her society pretty stable by the end of the questline, it seems to be working fairly well. Anarcho-monarchism has sadly never been adopted by any real-world government. It's important to note here that a system like this, while quite hilarious, is inherently contradictory. While the Rachnoid Queen we looked at today was a good monarch for an anarcho-monarchist society, a society of this nature is still assuming that one person can pass judgment on what a threat to the anarchy is. And giving one person the power to define language has never turned out well in history. So, while this seemingly works in the wacky society of the Rachnoids, maybe don't try this one in the real world. I hope you enjoyed our little dive into the world of Monkey Quest. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want, leave a comment if there's any other part of Monkey Quest lore you'd like to see covered in a future video. You can also join my Discord in the link in the description below, where you too can join the anarcho-monarchist insurgency. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.